各位记者朋友，大家上午好，欢迎出席中共中央宣传部新闻发布会。今天我们进行中国这10年系列主题新闻发布会的第23场，
This is the 23rd press conference under the theme of China in the past decade. Today, we are going to brief you on the progress in promoting high-quality development of culture and tourism in the new era and answer your questions. Today, we have invited Mr. Rao Quan, Vice Minister of Culture and Tourism, Madam Zhou Hanping, Inspector of the Department of Arts of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Mr. Chen Bingbing, Deputy Director General of the Department of Public Services, Mr. Wang Chenyang, Director General of the Department of Intangible Cultural Heritage, Mr. Miao Muyang, Director General of the Department of Industrial Development, Mr. Jin Ruiguo, Deputy Director General of the Department of Museums and Social Heritage. Now let's give the floor to Mr. Rao Quan for his briefing. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good morning. I want to thank you for your care and support for culture and tourism work. And today, I'm going to brief you on the development of culture and tourism. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has attached great importance to the development of culture and tourism. General Secretary Xi Jinping cares a lot about this and has made a series of important statements and instructions, which ensured historical achievements and transformation in culture and tourism over the past 10 years. With a focus on holding high the banner, gathering public support, nurturing new talents, promoting cultural development, and showing its appeal, we have been promoting culture and tourism in a mutually reinforcing way, thus bringing about prosperous development of culture, cultural industries, and tourism, and opening up new vistas. The role of culture in nurturing virtues and empowering growth, and the role of tourism in serving the people and driving development become more evident. The influence of Chinese culture continued to increase. All this lays a solid ground for accelerating the building of a socialist country strong in culture and achieving new glories of Chinese culture. First, art creation continues to prosper to meet people's cultural needs and provide powerful inspiration. We continue to improve the work mechanism with creation as the core task and performance as the central link. Implement the National Supporting Project for Stage Art Creation and a series of projects for art creation in the new era, and actively build an art creation system in the new era. Major art performances such as The Great Journey, The Struggle of the Sons and Daughters of China, and Our 40 Years were successfully held, showing the trend of the times and depicting the brilliance of the new era. We have increased the support of China National Arts Fund and gives play to the leading role of various cultural awards and exhibitions. We combined online and in-person shows and live and pre-recorded shows and encouraged the creation of fine artworks, such as the dance drama, The Internal Wave, the poetic dance, The Journey of a Legendary Landscape Painting, the opera Yimeng Mountain, and the drama Gu Wenchang. Aiming to achieve excellence, these works have become very popular. Second, modern public culture services system is being improved to enrich people's cultural life. The law on the protection of public cultural services, the law on public libraries, and the regulations on museums, and the national guiding standards for basic cultural services have been introduced to protect the basic cultural rights of the people. We are working to build a 6-tier public cultural services network from the state level to the village or community level. By the end of 2021, there were 3,215 public libraries, 3,316 cultural centers, 40,200 cultural stations, and 575,400 village-level comprehensive cultural service centers nationwide. All public libraries, cultural centers, art galleries, and 91% of museums are open for free. We have implemented a program to bring operas to rural areas and carried out brand cultural activities such as Village Gala, adding more color to people's cultural life. The development of the smart library system and the public cultural cloud services has been accelerated, and the new public cultural spaces have emerged. With cloud services at fingertips, public cultural services are more accessible and better suited to people's needs. Third, the cultural and tourism sectors have enjoyed a good momentum of growth with huge potential for innovation. The industrial system and standards system of the cultural and tourism sectors have gradually improved, and the scale continues to grow. In 2019, the added value of culture and related industries reached 443.63 billion yuan, and that of tourism and related industries reached 449.89 billion yuan, accounting for 4.5 and 4.56% of GDP respectively. The digital culture industry enjoyed rapid development. New forms of business such as cloud exhibitions, online performance, live streaming, immersive experience rise at a faster pace. Mass tourism and smart tourism continue to grow. Self-drive tours, camping, ice and snow tourism, recreation tourism, and maritime tourism are leading the trend. Creative industries and rural tourism continue to empower rural revitalization. Red tourism and tourism performing arts are thriving. Cultural and tourism sectors are more deeply integrated. Since the start of COVID-19, the cultural and tourism sectors have suffered from severe disruption. We have taken concrete steps to help businesses and enterprises also worked hard to save themselves instead of lying flat. This has injected more confidence in the recovery of culture and tourism. Fourth, remarkable progress has been made in preserving and passing on cultural heritage and in pursuing innovative application and development of fine traditional Chinese culture. The actual number about China's cultural heritage is becoming clearer. By the end of 2021, there were 108 million pieces or sets of state-owned movable cultural relics and 767,000 unmovable cultural relics. 5,058 major historical and cultural sites protected at the national level, 6,183 museums on record, nearly 870,000 intangible resources, 1,557 national intangible representative projects, 3,062 national intangible representative inheritors, 13,026 national rare books, 203 key units of Asian books protection. China has 56 World Heritage Sites, ranking second in the world. It has 42 items listed in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List, ranking first in the world. Projects of origins tracing of the Chinese civilization, cultural heritage protection, revolutionary cultural relics protection and use, the Chinese Asian books protection, and traditional craft revitalization and archaeological China major projects have been earnestly implemented. The construction of national cultural parks of the Great Wall, the Grand Canal, the Long March, the Yellow River, and the Yangtze River are steadily advancing. Recovery and return of cultural relics lost overseas gained fruitful results. More than 1,800 pieces of lost cultural relics returned to the motherland. Cultural heritage was further invigorated. People show greater interest in archaeology, museums, intangible cultural heritage, and antique books. The Chinese style has become the new fashion choice of young people. Fifth, exchanges and cooperation with foreign countries and Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan have been deepened and higher level opening up is achieved in culture and tourism. The dynamic dynamics of culture and tourism, exchanges and cooperation, featuring all-dimensional, multi-tiered and all-sectoral opening up are being established. A number of major cultural events were successfully held in tandem with head of state diplomacy and diplomatic events such as the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation and the Conference on Dialogue of Asian Civilizations. Efforts have been made to speed up construction of overseas Chinese cultural centers. China has culture and tourism agencies in 93 countries and has signed intergovernmental culture and tourism cooperation agreements with 157 countries. It has actively participated in international rules-making. The foreign cultural trade system has been improved, and the core cultural products and services have been exported and enjoyed rapid growth. The Year of Culture and Tourism Festival and the brand activities such as Happy Spring Festival and Beautiful China enjoy wide influence and have shaped a credible, lovable, and respectable image of China. We have worked hard to improve culture and tourism work in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, and continue to carry out activities such as Golden Flow in the Sea of Art and Love for China, which have effectively united the people and enhanced identity recognition. The fundamental reason behind these achievements lies in the strong leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping, the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era, the firm leadership of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, and the diligent work of the personnel in the cultural and tourism sectors. We will earnestly study and implement the spirit of General Secretary Xi Jinping's important remarks on culture and tourism, ground our efforts in the new development stage, implement the new development philosophy, serve and integrate into the new development paradigm, and strive to achieve high-quality development of culture and tourism and make greater contribution to building a socialist country strong in culture. Next, me and my colleague will answer your questions. Thank you for your briefing. The floor is now open for questions. Please identify the media outlet you represent before raising questions. CCTV. In recent years,
the CPC Central Committee and the State Council have deepened the government functions reform and advanced the reform on administrative approval system and commercial system. So in terms of government function reform, revitalizing market entities, strengthen law enforcement and regulation, and creating a market-oriented and law-based international business environment, what has been done in the culture and tourism sector? Thank you. Since the party's 18th Congress, as instructed by the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, we have deepened the government function reform to improve the relations between government and market. We've advanced the reform on separating permits and business licenses and stimulated the market. Market entities speed up their transformation. The market system is more orderly and prosperous. As of the end of 2021, there are 191,000 cultural businesses which employed 1.51 million employees. Among them, there are 16,000 artistic performing troupes, up by 123.2% from the year 2012. They put on 2.32 million performances for 930 million viewers. And the size of online music market reached 62.69 billion yuan, 13.8 times that of 2012. The number of travel agencies grew from 25,000 in 2012 to 43,000 now. And we have done the following. First, we have doubled our efforts in streamlining administration delegating powers. We have delegated the approval of internet culture businesses and foreign-related for-profit performances and shows to provincial levels, and delegated the approval of setting up travel agencies in pilot zones by Hong Kong and Macau service providers to the pilot zones from the provincial level, so that the businesses can get their work done quickly. And we have abolished approval requirements for temporary tour guides and others. Second, we have improved approval services. We have cancelled the restrictions on foreign invested internet services, entertainment venues, performance brokerage agencies, and operators of performance venues. We have allowed the issuance of approval upon a commitment of compliance for travel agencies, and reduce the time needed for approving on the export and import of arts from 20 working days to 13 working days. We have cancelled the cap on online internet service venues and its distribution, and cancelled restriction on registered capital for cultural businesses. Third, we have established a new type of supervision system, which includes randomized inspections and Internet Plus supervision, supplemented by specific supervision. We have continued to deepen the law enforcement reform of the cultural market, and for the online services, including homestay, online performances, playbook-based entertainment, and mini karaoke, and other new business forms, we have introduced interim guidance on their management so as to improve the sustainable development of the sector. In addition, we have continued to deepen the overall law enforcement reform of the culture market. We have strengthened and consolidated our law enforcement teams, and as instructed by the central government, we have performed our administrative law enforcement duties in a holistic manner for culture, cultural relics, publishments, broadcasting, film, TV, and tourism, and other areas. And we have made sure our law enforcement is well-regulated, professional, and supported by information technology. We have made sure law enforcement is for the people, well-regulated, and civil. We have also strictly followed requirements on COVID-19 control, production safety, and market order, so as to ensure the stable performance of the culture and tourism sector. Thank you. Next question, please. Thank you. From the Southern Metropolis Daily.
Culture and tourism is closely connected to people's aspiration for a better life. My question is, what has the Ministry of Culture and Tourism done to achieve high-quality development of culture and tourism, and what progress has been made so far? Culture and tourism development has caught wide attention. I would like to invite Mr. Miao Muyang to answer this question. Thank you for your question. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, China's culture and tourism have become the new drivers of economic growth and played an important role in promoting the transformation and upgrading of the national economy, improving the quality and efficiency, and meeting people's needs for a better life. The culture and tourism industry enjoyed vibrant growth and is breaking new grounds. First, the scale of the industry continues to expand, and the market entities continue to grow. And just in 2019, the added value of the national culture and related industries was 4,436.3 billion yuan, and that of tourism and related industries was 4,498.9 billion yuan, accounting for 4.5% and 4.56% of GDP. Respectively, over the past decade, the number of cultural enterprises above designated size has grown from 36,000 to 65,000, and the annual operating revenue has grown to 11.9 trillion yuan. By the end of 2021, there were 42,000 travel agencies, 14,000 A-level scenic spots, and 8,771 star-rated hotels in China. The role of cultural industry and tourism industry in driving the economy is more evident. Second, supply is increasingly abundant, and industrial integration has stimulated consumption. 5G, big data, VR, AR, AI, and ultra-high definition, and other digital technologies are widely used in the cultural and tourism industries. New forms of business such as online broadcasting, digital art, and immersive experience have developed rapidly. And a number of digital cultural products with Chinese cultural characteristics such as big fish and begonia and dancing into spring have emerged. The cultural and tourism industries are more deeply integrated. We have been vigorously developed, performing arts tourism, red tourism, rural tourism, and cultural heritage tourism. We will build 15 national demonstration cities, 115 national pilot cities, and 243 national nighttime clusters for culture and tourism consumptions. Third, the rescue plan has been strengthened to help the industry cope with the impact of the pandemic. And the investment scale has increased. The development-oriented and policy-based tools have become more diverse. Policy tools such as PPP model and local government special bonds have been effectively promoted and applied in the cultural and tourism sectors. The cultural products have maintained a trade surplus for many years. In 2021, China's cultural trade volume exceeded $200 billion for the first time. Cultural and tourism industry expos are playing an increasingly important role as a platform. The development of the national foreign cultural trade base was advanced steadily, and more high-quality cultural and tourism enterprises were exported. And fourth, the rescue plan has been strengthened to help the industry cope with the impact of the pandemic. Our ministry, together with relevant ministries, introduced policies to promote the recovery of certain industries in difficulty in the service sector, and a series of financial support to the recovery of culture and tourism industry. At the same time, we continue to reduce tax and fees and stabilize employment in the cultural and tourism sectors, to enhance the sense of gain of relevant enterprises. In light of the COVID-19 situation, we are adjusting the policy on opening cultural and tourism venues. And the circuit breaker area of interprovincial group tourism will be targeted to county level, so as to promote the safe and orderly recovery of cultural and tourism markets. Since the second half of this year, the culture and tourism market has shown a positive momentum of recovery. The resilience of the culture and tourism sector are there for us to see. Thank you. Next question. Thank you. National Business Daily.
In recent years, visiting museums and heritage sites has become an important part of people's daily life, and it is only a glimpse into the growth of China's cultural relic sector. So what has been achieved in the last decade in terms of cultural relic protection and utilization? Thank you. In recent years, people pay more attention to the cultural relics sector. So let me invite Mr. Jin Ruiguo to take this question. Thank you for your question, and thank you for your interest in this sector. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, pay unprecedented attention to the protection and utilization of cultural relics and heritage. We have pressed ahead and whole society participated, achieving great and historic improvement in this sector. First, people are more aware of the importance of protecting cultural relics. We know that protecting cultural relics is also part of government performance. The 19th Party Congress and the 5th and 6th plenary sessions of the 19th CPC Central Committee made overall plans for such protection. And for the first time, there is an overall plan in the 14th five-year plan, and 27 provincial level governments put cultural relics safety part of their evaluation system. Second, we have improved the protection of cultural relics. We have conducted one national census of the movable relics and published 2 lists of state-level key sites for cultural relics protection. There are over 5,000 national-level units, and such numbers for the state level, provincial level, and county level grew by 115%, 58%, and 88% respectively. And key projects continue to be advanced, and major achievements has been made. We have been fighting cultural relics crimes, fire hazards, and illegal acts of legal persons. Third, museums enjoy growing influence. They're more diverse in their themes. The number of on-record museums reached 6,183, up by 60% in the last 10 years, and the number of annual exhibitions grew by 144%, and visitors grew by 119%. A lot of exhibitions have become very popular among the public. If cultural relics speak, and many other TV shows have gone viral. We have continued to use the protection of cultural relics to encourage people to get rid of poverty. The museum on the CPC and the memorial on the early activities of the CPC in Beijing have been open to the public. China's total number of World Heritage Sites reached 56. We have conducted sound cooperation in terms of the export and import of cultural relics. Over 1,800 pieces of cultural relics have been returned. And third, we have improved our governance capacity. There are over 200 provincial and provincial level regulations on cultural relics protection. We've improved our ability for archaeological research in order to protect the cultural relics, including the monitoring of environment for museums. We are also strengthening the teams and archaeological institutes. The allowance for field archaeological research will be increased significantly. We've made sure that we prioritize protection, utilize effectively, and make the cultural relics alive again. We will continue to implement the instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping on cultural relics protection and utilization, continue to press ahead to explore new vistas and achieve new progress in cultural relics protection and utilization. Next question, please. Changjiang Daily. In recent years, people's demand for tourism is growing. Our tourism sector is growing with more products, more business forms, and better benefits and returns. So what are the highlights in China's tourism in the last 10 years? Thank you for your question. I will take this question. Since the 18th Party Congress, we have implemented the important instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping. We've made tourism an important indicator of rising living standards, an important tool to advocate Chinese culture, an important driver of the economy, an important area for implementing the theory of lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets, and an important channel for cultural exchanges and cooperation overseas. And I will talk about three highlights. First, rural tourism. In the last 10 years, rural tourism has seen its product demand optimized, infrastructure improved, service quality enhanced, and mechanisms for generating returns strengthened. Rural tourism is producing more and more social and economic benefits. We have named 1,299 key villages for rural tourism and rolled out rural tourism routes that have clear themes. We have carried out campaigns for bringing creativity to the countryside and cultivated clusters for rural tourism. Rural tourism has allowed people to experience the idyllic scenery and country life. It has become an important area for innovation and entrepreneurship, and an important driving force for rural revitalization. In 2019, rural areas received over 3 billion visitors. The Shibadong village of Hunan, Huamao village of Guizhou, got rid of poverty through tourism. Yuzheng from Zhejiang province and Xilitun of Anhui province are named by the UNWTO as the world's best tourist villages. They've become a wonderful place to showcase beautiful China. The second highlight is red heritage tourism. In the last 10 years, the number of red heritage tourism sites grew from 100 to 300. Now they have covered all the 4 historical periods, including the New Democratic Revolution, Socialist construction, reform and opening up, and the new era. We have rolled out 100 travel routes on the party's century-long red heritage. All those red resources and tourism sites have become great places that both entertain and educate. They are effective places for party members to learn about party history and strengthen party awareness, and a wonderful classroom for young people to inherit the red heritage and red spirit. In the last 10 years, the number of visitors received by red heritage sites grew by 11% annually and reached 1.4 billion in 2019. And third highlight is leisure and vacation tourism. We have adapted to the diverse demands for tourism consumption and encouraged tourism sites to improve services and transform. At the end of 2021, there are 14,332 A-class tourism sites, 365 A-class tourism sites, and proportion is rising significantly. There are 671 provincial level and above leisure resort and 300 level leisure streets, providing diverse forms of leisure products including culture tourism, ecological tourism, recuperation tourism, industrial tourism, sport tourism, and skiing vacation to meet people's diverse demands. Thank you. Next question, please.
北京广播电视台记者提问：习近平总书记强调，优秀的文艺作品最好是既能在思想上、艺术上取得成功，又能在市场上受到欢迎。我们关注到近年来，文艺界涌现出一批叫好又叫座、社会教育和经济教育统一的优秀舞台艺术作品。请向我们介绍一下这方面的发展成果。
social and economic benefits. Could you please brief us on the progress made in this regard? And I would like to invite Madam Zhou Hanping to answer this question.
感谢这位记者对舞台艺术的关心关注。
Thank you for your care and support for our performances. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, we have resolutely followed upon the spirit of General Secretary Xi Jinping's important statements on arts and literature, adhered to the people-centered approach, viewed creation as the core task and performance as the central link, improved production and promotion mechanism of artistic creation, guide the arts and cultural institutions to innovate business models, expand the market, and strive to produce fine works. First, excellent works are emerging to depict the magnificence of the new era and nurture people's tastes and values. Bearing in mind the new era and the new journey of contemporary Chinese art and literature, we have guided art and literary and art workers to show the magnificence of the new era in a panoramic manner and take people's satisfaction as the highest standard for art. We have produced a number of excellent works that can meet people's cultural needs and enhance their spiritual power. Apart from major performances like The Great Journey, we have produced a number of fine works, such as the dance drama The Internal Wave, which has been performed 415 times, the poetic dance, The Journey of a Legendary Landscape Painting, which has been performed 142 times in just 1 year, the opera Yimeng Mountain and the tale of Secretary Ma in the countryside, the drama Gu Wenchang, Liu Qing, the Peking opera, the Red Army stories, and the new opera Liu Sanjie. They have been widely applauded and produced both social and economic benefits. Second, we have innovated on the basis of what has worked in the past and carried forward the fine traditional Chinese culture. Taking the fine traditional Chinese culture as the source for art and literary creation, we have created a number of works with deep traditional cultural roots that combine traditional elements with contemporary ones, use new technologies to inspire people, enrich cultural connotation, and express thoughts, so that the fine traditional Chinese culture will continue to shine. From the Kunshi opera, Peony Pavilion, and the Cantonese opera, The Legend of the White Snake, and to the Chinese Opera Gala held in Kunshan since 2018, more and more excellent works have emerged to demonstrate Chinese characteristics, Chinese style, and Chinese appeal. They have become the trend of the times and are highly popular works. Literary and art creation has great potential. Third, we have deepened reform of state-owned arts institutions and striven to create high-quality products, talents, and benefits. We have implemented the opinions on deepening the reform of state-owned theaters and art troupes issued by central authorities and established a sustainable mechanism to produce new works and nurture talents. We have encouraged cultural and art troupes to enter the market and put on more performances. According to our statistics in 2021, despite COVID-19 response, art troupes performed more than 60,000 shows and earned nearly 5 billion yuan. We have normalized the practice of combining online and in-person shows and live and pre-recorded shows so as to reach out to more people. For example, during the Spring Festival in 2022, we launched a special program which was shown through platforms such as 文旅之声 and 文艺中国, which was well received by the public. Thank you. Next question, please.
第4排这位女士。
谢谢主持人。新京报记者提问：我们注意到近些年，
Beijing
非遗
News.
产品开始大量的
In
进入老
recent
百姓的
years,
生活，人
the
们对
concept of
非遗这个概念
intangible cultural
也开始越
heritage
来越
drives
认识
deep
和理
into
解。
people's
那么18
hearts.
大以来，我国在非物质文
My
化遗产
question
的传
is,
承与保护方面都取得了
what
哪
has
些
been
成
done
绩？
to
这对
protect
弘扬和
and
传承中华
preserve
传
the
统悠久
intangible
文化
cultural
会起到怎样的作用？
heritage since the 18th CPC National Congress?
这个正如刚才这位记者所说啊，近年来这个非遗
As you said,
是越来越融
intangible
入现代生
cultural
活，焕发
heritage
新的这个活
have
力。
entered people's
关于非
daily
遗这
life
个问
and
题，这个我们非物质
show
文化
great
遗产司的
vibrancy. I would like to invite Mr. Wang Chenyang to answer this question.
谢谢记者朋友提问。
Thank you for your
党的
question.
18大以来，
Since the
以习近
18th
平同志
Party
为核心的
Congress,
党中央
the
高度
CPC
重
Central
视
Committee
非物
with
质
Comrade
文化
Xi
遗
Jinping
产
at its
保
core
护
has
传承，
attached great
做出一
importance
系
to
列
the
重大措
protection
施，
of
推出一系列
intangible
的
cultural
务实举措，
heritage, or
推动
ICH, and
非物
made
质
a
化遗
series
产
of
实
major
现创造性
arrangements
转
and
化、创
initiatives
新
to
发展，
promote
在新时代
innovative
绽放出更
application
加
and
迷人的光
development
彩。
of
一
ICH,
是非
which
遗
has
成
taken
为
on a
更
new
新
look in the
中
new
华
era.
文脉、传
First,
承中华文
ICH
明
has
的
become
重
an
要方面。
important dimension in
截至目
carrying
前，
forward the
我
Chinese
国共有
culture.
各级非遗
There
代
are
表
more
性项
than
目10万余项，
100,000
其中
representative
国家级
items
非遗代
of
表项目
ICH at various levels in
1557项，
China, including
各级代表性传承人
1,557
9万余
national
名，
level
其中
items.
国
There
家
are
级
more
非遗
than
代表性传承人
90,000 representative
3062
inheritors at various levels,
设立
including
23个国家级
3,062
文化
national
生态
level
保护区，
inheritors.
实施
There are
非遗记录
23
工程、
national
中
cultural
国
and
传统工艺
ecological
振兴
reserves.
计划、中国
Projects
非
such
遗
as
研
the
培计划、
ICH Recording
曲传承
Project,
发展计划等，
Chinese Traditional Crafts
培训
Project,
传
and
承人超过
Chinese
10万人次，
ICH Research
非
and
遗
Training
传承活
Program,
力
the Folk
不断
Art
增强。
Inheritance and Development
20非
Program
遗
have
成
been
为坚定文
implemented,
化自信，
and more than
筑牢中华民族共同体意识的
100,000
重要源
inheritors
泉。
have been trained.
各地在
Second,
传统节
ICH
日
has
和
become an
文化自
important
然遗产日
source
等
for
重
strengthening
要
cultural
时间节点
confidence.
上，举办丰富多彩的非遗
Various
活动，
ICH
全
activities
社
are
会
held
热
on
爱中
traditional
华悠久传统
festivals.
文化的氛围更
And
为浓
across the
厚。
whole society, there's a
24节
tendency
气在
to
北
love
京
the
冬奥
fine
会舞
traditional
台向
Chinese
世界
culture.
彰
The
显
24
中华民
solar
族的文
terms
化底
performed
蕴
at the
和文
opening
化自信。
ceremony of the Beijing Winter
56个民
Olympics
族
demonstrates
都
the
有
cultural
项目
confidence
列
of the
入国
Chinese
家级非
nation.
遗代表性项
All
目名录。
56 ethnic
各
groups
民
have
族
their
优
intangible
秀
cultural
传统文
heritage
化在
projects
非遗保
listed
护的
on
框架下
the
相
national
互交流、
project
相
list.
互欣赏、
All ethnic
相
groups
互尊重。
communicate and
非
appreciate
遗
each other's
成
fine
为
traditional
促进
cultures.
各民族交往、
Intangible
交
cultural
流、
heritage
交
has
融，
become an
筑牢
important
中华民
carrier
族
for
共同体意
promoting
识
the
的载体
integration
和
and
纽带。
exchanges of ethnic groups and
3
strengthening
是
the
非遗
sense
成
of
为促进
community of
经
the
济社会
Chinese
高质量
nation.
发展、
Third,
满足人民群众
ICH
美好
has
生
become
活
an
需要
important
的
force
重要力
for
量。
promoting high quality
推动传统
economic
工
and
艺
social
振兴发
development
展，
and
传统
meeting
工艺
people's
产
needs
品
for a
的
better
品
life.
类日益丰富，品质显著提升，在现代生活中
The
得
quality
到了
of
新
cultural
的
products
广
have
泛应用。
improved, and they are
开展非
widely
遗助
applied
力、
in our
精
daily
准
life.
扶贫和乡村振兴工作，各地设立非遗工坊
In carrying
2500余
and
家，
in carrying
促
out
进脱贫攻
rural
坚和当地的经
revitalization,
济发展。
various
家
localities
风家
have
训、乡
set
村
up
村约相关的非遗项目，
2,500
为
ICH
培育良
workshops.
好的民风习
Projects
俗、
for family
培
training
厚
and local
社区
etiquette
文化积
have
淀，
also
发
played an
挥了
important
重要
role
作
in
用。
cultivating good customs and
4是
enhancing
非遗
community
成
cultural
为展示
development.
中国形象、传
Fourth,
播中国声音
ICH
的
has
重要
become
内
an
容。
important part
截至目
of
前，
displaying
我国有
China's image
42
and
个
spreading
非遗
China's
项目
voice.
列
Up
入
to
联合
now,
国教科文组织
China has
非遗名录
42 items
名
on
册，位
UNESCO's
居世界
intangible
第一，
cultural heritage
为
list,
世界文化
ranking
多样
first
性
in the
贡
world,
献了中国色彩。
contributing our share to the
蒙古族
world's
长调
cultural
民歌、
diversity.
送王船等联合
Joint
申报的项
application
目，成为推动
projects
文
of
明交流
Wangchuan
互鉴的
ceremony
重要
and
体现。
Mongolian folk
中
songs
医
with
针灸、
traditional
藏
tunes
腰愈
embody
法、太
exchanges
极
and
拳等
mutual
项
learning
目，
among
为解决人类
civilizations.
健康问题
Acupuncture
提
and
供了
Tai
中
Chi
国智
Chuan
慧。
offer Chinese solution
下一
to
步，
health
我们将以
issues.
习近平总书
Going
记
forward,
关于
we
非
will
遗保
follow
护
the
的重要
important
论述
remarks
和指
and
示批示精
instructions
神
of
为
General
根本遵
Secretary
循，
Xi Jinping
坚
on the
持
protection
守
of
正创新，
intangible cultural
找到传
heritage.
统文化
Keep
和现
pace
代
with the
生活的
times
连
and
接
strive
点，
to be
以
creative.
时代精神
Find the
激活
connection
中
between
华优秀
traditional
传统
culture
文化
and
的生
modern
命力，
life,
不断满
revitalize the
足
fine
人民
traditional
日益
Chinese
增长
culture,
的美好生活
and
需
in
要。
order to
谢
meet
谢。
people's growing needs for a better life.
好，下
Thank
一个
you.
问题，
Next question.
左边第一排。
谢谢主持人，我是那个中国日报记者。
China Daily.
广泛深入的文明交流，
Extensive exchanges and mutual learning among civilizations are very important for building a community with a shared future for mankind. So what has been done and what has been achieved in promoting China's cultural exchanges exchanges and mutual learning with other countries and improving the influence of Chinese culture. Thank you for your question. Since the 18th Party Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping has, on many international occasions, put forward important initiatives including the Belt and Road cultural exchanges and the Asia Tourism Promotion Plan. He put forward important measures including China-France Culture Tourism Year and China-ROK Culture Exchange Year. He attended important activities including the China-Egypt Culture Year, BRICS Culture Festival, China-Myanmar Culture and Tourism Year, and he inaugurated China Culture Centers in Pakistan, Singapore, Cambodia, and Vietnam. He wrote congratulatory letters to activities including the 2021 Belt and Road Great Wall International Folk Culture Festival and Fountain of Italy, Ancient Roman Civilization exhibition. Thanks to his planning, instruction, and engagement, inter-civilizational exchange and mutual learning has been thriving. First, we have contributed China's wisdom in international global culture governance. We have cooperated with UNESCO and UNWTO. As I said, the number of heritage sites in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List reached 42, topping the world. Chinese language has become the official language of the UNWTO, and in 2021, Yutun of Zhejiang Province, Xilitun of Anhui Province are named the first world best tourist villages by the UN World Tourism Organization. Green mountains and lush and lucid waters are invaluable assets. This notion has been shared by the general public, and China's experience and plans have become effective reference for developing countries. Second, we have showed the world China's cultural positions and ideas. We have worked on the development of 16 multilateral exchange mechanisms, including the BRICS Culture Ministers Meeting and BRICS Tourism and G20 Tourism Ministers Meeting, and 25 bilateral mechanisms. We have conducted cultural and tourism exchanges with countries with newly established diplomatic relations, including the Panama, and meeting Beijing International Arts Festival and other activities are showcasing the world the development of Chinese culture. The number of Chinese culture centers overseas and tourism offices overseas reached 45 and 20 respectively, and every year they work together to conduct activities including the Mid-Autumn Day Festival and Cloud Travel China, which become important window for presenting the charm of the Chinese culture. Third, we have shared with the rest of the world the outcomes of our culture. We worked with Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan to promote the Chinese culture. We have advanced cultural exchanges and cooperation along the Belt and Road Initiative and established the Silk Road Alliance for theaters, museums, festivals, libraries, and galleries with 539 members. The Happy Spring Festival has been held every year, hosting about 2,000 activities every year in over 130 countries. It has become an important bridge for the Chinese people to share with the rest of the world a traditional holiday. And Beautiful China and Discover China and other activities have attracted more foreign tourists to experience the charm of Chinese culture firsthand. Thank you. Next question, please. Thank you. Haibao News.
Since the 18th CPC National Congress, urbanization achieved rapid development. My question is, what achievements has been made in the integrated development of cultural services in rural and urban areas, and what role it has played in improving people's sense of gain? Cultural services are closely linked to people's daily lives. I would like to invite Mr. Chen Bingbing to answer this question. Thank you for your question. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, we have fully implemented the Party Central Committee and State Council's decisions and arrangements, and General Secretary Xi Jinping's instructions, worked hard to build urban and rural public cultural services system in a coordinated way, with a focus on promoting the standardization of public cultural services. With such efforts, people can enjoy public cultural services more equally, and their sense of gain is enhanced. First, the institutional system is more complete. Over the past 10 years, we have promulgated and implemented implemented the 2 laws and 1 standard, namely the Public Cultural Service Guarantee Law, the Law on Public Libraries, and the State Guidance Standard for Basic Public Cultural Services. And 31 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities have formed specific implementation standards. 333 localities and 2,846 counties have issued dialogues of basic public cultural services and issued policy documents such as opinions on promoting high-quality development of public cultural services. And this provides an important basis for promoting the integrated development of urban and rural public cultural services and ensure people's basic cultural rights. Second, the facility system has improved over the past 10 years through deepening the reform. The network of primary-level public services facilities has been improved. On the one hand, by promoting the reform of county-level cultural centers.
The
original 6,000 libraries and cultural centers have been expanded to a network of 95,000 branches and primary-level service points. On the other hand, social resources have been extensively tapped to build new public cultural facilities such as urban libraries and cultural centers. And there are 18,000 in total and is growing. These facilities are easily accessible right next to people's homes, thus greatly improving the coverage and efficacy of public cultural services. Third, cultural activities are more diverse. And now people are having a greater need for cultural services. In recent years, we have conducted a wide range of mass cultural activities, such as the village galas, square dance, and chorus. The number of participants keep breaking new records. For example, in 2022, the Village Gala attracted 118 million participants. Now the people are not only the audience of cultural activities, but also creators and performers. They have truly become the main body of culture. We encourage the people to form their own culture. And now the existing cultural troops nationwide is more than 450,000, an increase of 50% over 2012. Fourth, cultural resources are more tilted to the primary levels through standardization and cultural projects. Fine public cultural resources have been delivered to poor areas, border areas, old revolutionary areas, and at primary levels, and has achieved leapfrog development. For example, we have implemented cultural talent supporting program in the above-mentioned areas. A total of 169,000 cultural workers have been dispatched to the primary level cultural units, training 15,000 cultural workers there. Operas are still very popular. We have implemented a program to bring operas to rural areas. About 78,000 opera performances were put on in 13,000 towns in central and western regions. We have implemented the digital library promotion project and culture sharing project. Many digital resources have reached the primary level. Now, all public libraries at municipal level and above, and 99% of township level public libraries, even in the remotest areas, can provide at least 145 terabytes of digital cultural resources, including 300,000 books, 7,700 periodicals, 200,000 audios, etc. Next step, we will continue to promote high-quality development and strive to provide the public with higher quality, more efficient, fairer, and more sustainable public cultural services. so as to lay the foundation for the elevation of people's spiritual life. Thank you.
因为时间关系，我们最后一个问题。
And the last question.
谢谢封面新闻记者提问。
Cover news. In recent years, key archaeological discoveries, including Sanxingdui and Piluo, attract a lot of attention. So, what has been done in promoting the outcomes of archaeological research? That is a hot topic today. Let me invite Mr. Jin Ruiguo from the National Cultural Heritage Administration to take the question. Thank you. Since the 18th Party Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping has made important instructions on archaeological work. He instructed all of us in the party and the country to strengthen confidence and work together for national rejuvenation. Key projects have produced fruitful outcomes. There are over 8,800 projects. Key projects in Liangzhu, Taosi, Shimao, Erlitou, Yinshui, and Sanxingdui made new discoveries in 2021. We see rapid growth in archaeological research, providing rich nourishment to the whole country and the historical identification of the nation. We will continue to implement the instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping to find out, to discover, to explore the unknowns and discover the source. First, we will deepen archaeological research. We will advance key projects to identify the source of humanity, agriculture, and civilization, and the source of the Chinese civilization and the unified multi-ethnic nation. We will participate in world civilization research, identify the contribution of the Chinese civilization to the world. We will work to fuse different disciplines in archaeology, build a scientific and technological innovation center for archaeological research. Third, we will continue to deepen interpretation dissemination. We will showcase the research outcomes and share them with the whole country and the rest of the world, to showcase the history and the great inventions of Chinese civilization, so that the people, including the young people, will better understand and recognize Chinese civilization and gain more confidence as Chinese. Thank you. That is the end of today's press conference. I want to thank our speakers and thank friends from the media for joining us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You were listening to Chinese official